My name is Michael Caine.
There are certain actors in Hollywood who have seemingly been around forever.
Not many people know that. I sound like this bloody moron.
And that's not a bad thing at all. One of those actors is without a doubt Michael Caine. He is a man who has been a part of many films and productions over the years, and is revered as one of the most respected men in Hollywood. He's done iconic parts, given iconic performances, and though he's 88 years old right now, he doesn't seem to be slowing down anytime soon. But just how much has he done in his illustrious career up to this point? Allow us to show you Michael Caine, then and now. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. The early times of Michael Caine. Sir Michael Caine was born all the way back in 1933, and he had a much different name back then as well, Maurice Joseph Micklewhite Jr. He was raised by his parents in London, but not too long into his life, he had a major life shift. Mainly, World War II happened. As the UK was the only part of Europe to not surrender or ally with Germany, the country, and especially Great Britain, was heavily bombed by enemy forces. As such, Caine's family had to evacuate to a northern part of the country, along with many others. Once the war finally ended, they were able to get back to at least somewhat livable housing, which to us might not sound like much, but to Caine and his family, it was a luxury. The prefabs, as they were known, were intended to be temporary homes, while London was reconstructed. But we ended up living there for 18 years, and for us, after a cramped flat with an outside toilet, it was luxury. At the age of 10, he started to get into acting, and after doing well in school, he started to work at a film company, first as a clerk and messenger, and eventually becoming a producer. But if you think that this was his chance to jump into acting and become the legend we all know him as, he had a service to do first. Military time. At this time in England's history, there was a thing called national service. Certain other countries have this to this day, where people of a certain age are required to go and join the military and serve for a time. When it was Caine's time, around the age of 20, he served in the British Army's Royal Fusiliers, first at the British Army of the Rhine headquarters in Iserlohn, West Germany, and then active service during the Korean War. He was heavily affected by his time in the war, including seeing the dark side of communism and the way that certain governments treat their people. Caine also came out of the war having a better appreciation for life, and feels that the national service should come back in certain ways to go and help out youth who don't understand what such a thing can help you experience. I'm just saying, put them in the army for 6 months. You're there to learn how to defend your country. You belong to the country. Then, when you come out, you have a sense of belonging, rather than a sense of violence. His time in the military came to an end in 1954, and after that, he was finally able to truly go and expand on his true passion, acting. Early acting. Caine had actually started his acting career as a part of stage plays before he went to join the service. At the time, he adopted a stage name of Michael White, and the early plays he was in were noted to be more of a purgatory than a paradise. But he endured and kept going, even meeting his first wife at one of these productions. However, fate intervened in regards to his name when getting brought to a certain company, who already had a Michael White acting for them. So his agent alerted him that he needed to change his name immediately. He was on the phone with his agent, and as he was looking around, he saw The Caine Mutiny was playing at a theater, and Michael Caine was born. Thanks to some interesting luck, he would go on to meet some very key actors, including Peter O'Toole, whom he served as an understudy to, and took over a key stage role of his when Peter went to go do Lawrence of Arabia. Caine's first film role was as one of the privates in George Baker's Platoon, in the 1956 film A Hill in Korea. He appeared regularly on television in small roles. His first credited role on the BBC was in 1956, where he played Boudous in the Jean Anouilh play The Lark. Breaking out. As he headed into the 1960s, Caine slowly found himself getting cast in more and more parts, and even leading roles in play productions like Somewhere in the Night. But it was after a friend came to him and asked him to meet a director that he was cast as an officer in the film Zulu, and it was that movie that helped make him a film star. because after Zulu and some politics backstage that could have ruined him, Caine decided to use both his looks and his range of accents to go and make himself a bigger star. It was then that he got cast in roles in films like Alfie, and then went to Hollywood and was cast in Gambit. Oh, and when he was in Hollywood, he befriended John Wayne. Yep, he did that. And then in 1969, he did the film The Italian Job, that to this day is one of his most praised roles due to how funny he was, including his one-liner, "You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off."
Go. You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off.
The roles to come. Throughout the 1970s and 1980s, Caine started to get all sorts of big roles in various films and work alongside all sorts of legendary actors, including in The Man Who Would Be King, where he tag-teamed with Sean Connery, or the film A Bridge Too Far, which had an all-star cast. But it was during the 80s that he started to not just do acclaimed roles, but ones that earned him awards, such as with Educating Rita, earning him the BAFTA and Golden Globe Award for Best Actor. In 1986, he received great acclaim for his performance in Woody Allen's Hannah and Her Sisters, earning him his first Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. The 90s were a bit harder for him, but he did get some major parts that would be remembered throughout his career, including doing A Muppet Christmas Carol, where he played the part of Scrooge with incredible passion. "I'm going to play this movie like I'm working with the Royal Shakespeare Company. I will never wink. I will never do anything Muppety. I'm going to play Scrooge as if it is an utterly dramatic role and there are no puppets around me." But he did have some big roles, including The Little Voice and The Cider House Rules, each of which made him an award winner for his acting. Worldwide roles. You'd think that after having so many legendary roles so far that he'd already be a worldwide star. But in truth, some of the roles that really pushed him to ranks of superstardom included him being in Miss Congeniality, being Austin Powers' dad in Goldmember, and being Alfred Pennyworth in the Dark Knight trilogy. It was then that he met Christopher Nolan, and the director would cast him in many movies of his to come, including the beloved movie Inception, as well as Nolan's next films via Interstellar and Tenet. And as you go through the years, you see him lending his voice and name to other films in order to give it credence in one form or another, and all the while making him more famous. A grandfather. If you fast forward to now, you'll hear that Caine's view on life has changed just a bit. Mainly because while back in his early days, he just wanted to perform. Today, he wants to live as long as he can so he can spend time with his 3 grandchildren, noting that they have given him a new lease on life. And he's even given up drinking in order to go and live a little longer. I've decided to live a bit longer. I've cut down on the drink and got a new outlook on life. I thought I wasn't going to have grandchildren, and suddenly I have 3. They're my fountain of youth, and have given me a new lease of life without any of the worries or troubles. I'm completely besotted, and so is my wife. Hard to knock a man who wants to live with his family, right? And his career is legendary, so he honestly has nothing left to prove. So what do you think? What do you think of this look at Michael Caine and the amazing and long-lasting career he has had over the years? Are you surprised by how many big-name films he's been in, as well as the other productions he's been a part of? Do you hope that he continues his career for as long as possible? Or is he wise to slow down and spend time with his grandchildren? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel.